Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Fun fact, this is take 5 of the intro because I suck at speaking. It's currently 11:30 at night, that's why you guys are not seeing my hands in today's video. But I really wanted to get this video out to you lovely people, so here we are. Fun story, real quick. I reapplied for monetization. A lot of you guys know that I have struggled with that for a very long time, and I really thought I was gonna get accepted this time, guys. Guess what? I was rejected, so I'm officially done playing YouTube's game regardless. A lot of you guys know that I purposely don't include any sort of copyrighted sounds in my videos because I wanted them to be able to monetize. It's also why I switch up my thumbnail styles a lot because I don't want it to be flagged as repetitive. It's why I included videos of real time, like me putting my hands in the videos anyways. This was all an attempt to get myself monetized, and since none of it is working, I'm just gonna do whatever is most efficient for me and what I think will provide the best viewing experience for you guys. So yeah, you know what? I don't need you, YouTube algorithm. I mean, it would have been nice to have you, but like, honestly, I have a lot more freedom now. I can actually make all of my video thumbnails fit the same aesthetic. I'm so excited about that. Like, you guys have no idea. And yeah, just a little update about that. Okay. Today's video is part 3 of Fake It Till We Make It, which is a fan fiction that I am writing about KyoHaba. Since you guys liked the summaries before, I will give a summary of part 2 right now. Essentially, Yahaba and Kiyotani went to this animal shelter, which Kiyotani volunteers at, and they got some bonding done over that. I think that's literally all that happened in part 2. It was very fluffy. Except part 3, which is this part, is not going to be as fluffy. Please don't kill me. Please don't hate me. It's not, yeah, it's not fun. Enjoy.
Yahaba-chan, I thought I told you to get a fake boyfriend, not a real one. Yahaba's eyes fly open and he bolts upright, nearly hitting Oikawa in the face. The older setter's leaning over him, smirking mischievously. Completely on instinct, Yahaba sneaks a glance over Oikawa, looking for his eternal counterpart. Wherever Oikawa is, IwaOi is never far. Yahaba sends out a silent prayer for help, but IwaOi does not appear out of thin air, much to his disappointment. Shit. Yahaba groans. Oikawa-san, I'm studying. Oikawa raises an eyebrow at him dubiously. You mean sleeping? Yahaba doesn't have a chance to answer, as Oikawa's first words register in his head. He flushes. Wait, what do you mean, real? It is fake. Yahaba lowers his voice unnecessarily. The library he's in is practically empty anyways. Oikawa wags a finger at him. You can't fool me, Haba-chan. I saw you guys at the mall just 2 days ago. Yahaba whines and flops his head back into his arms. He's too exhausted for this type of interrogation, really. We were just buying new knee pads, Oikawa. He hears a gasp. A knee pad date? No, it wasn't a date. He doesn't really know why he keeps on insisting, since Oikawa's practically famous for his stubborn nature, but something inside of Yahaba refuses to give in to the suggestion that he and Kiyotani are actually dating. Maybe it's something akin to overcompensation for his own innate desires. After all, he sort of wishes. But you like him, right, Haba-chan? Oikawa slides into the seat across from him and places his chin on the table to look Yahaba in the eye. Oh screw it, two could play at this game. Yahaba thinks spitefully that Oikawa is in no place to target him like this. And you like IwaOi-san, right, Oikawa-san? Oikawa keels backwards, and Yahaba is both shocked and amused at the way he almost falls over. Haba-chan, where on earth did you get that idea? It's clear as day, Oikawa-san, Yahaba says calmly, relishing being the one delivering the punches instead of taking them, for once. As much as he respects his captain, he's no longer going to sit by and endure the teasing. Your own medicine tastes pretty bitter, doesn't it? Oikawa is still spluttering, cheekbones rapidly turning pink. Sadly, to Yahaba, at least, Oikawa has one of those elegant blushes that barely touches his cheeks. It's nothing like the all-consuming red that covers Yahaba from his forehead to chin. Yahaba is jealous, as he is of most things regarding Oikawa. Maybe that's why it stings so much when someone whispers how Yahaba is like a great Oikawa. Or why he gets so riled up whenever someone tells him, Yahaba, you sound just like Oikawa. Honestly, Haba-chan, that's ridiculous. Iwa-chan and I are just, Oikawa pauses, and Yahaba smirks. You know. I'm not sure I know, Oikawa-san. As if I'd let you off the hook that easily. Oikawa throws his hands in the air, a look of distress on his face. It's not like that. KyoHaba settles back into his seat. Well then, it's not like that between Kyoutani and me and either. Ha. If you want me to admit anything, you'll have to do it too. Oikawa's eyes narrow at him for a few beats, before Oikawa sits back too, mirroring KyoHaba's casual pose. So that's how it will be, huh? Alright, I'll play. Wait, what? The older boy sniffs and tosses his hair. Oh, the things I do for my precious kuhai. No way he's actually. Oikawa beams, brittle, bright, and ever so slightly plastic. Yes, I do have romantic feelings for Iwa-chan. He deflates as the words leave his mouth, looking somewhat shocked that he's said it. Holy shit. KyoHaba's jaw drops, despite already knowing this information. Why you? Oikawa closes his eyes and shakes his head sadly, exaggerating a pout. No, Iwa-chan does not know. And no, I shall not tell him, because I have much more to lose than you do. Oikawa shoots him a pointed gaze, and KyoHaba bristles. What do you mean? Kyoutani and I are close friends too. KyoHaba cuts himself off with a resigned sigh. Alright, fine. Oikawa's right. But Oikawa-san, I get why you won't tell him, but... KyoHaba pauses. He tries to imagine. What would it feel like to keep his feelings bottled up inside, letting them fester there for years, without ever resolving them? Aren't you unhappy? A beat passes. 2. Oikawa sits there, eyes blown wide, seemingly frozen, like a computer screen glitching out. Oikawa? Unhappy? A small jerk, and the motion picture continues to run. Oikawa smiles, a hint of melancholy tugging at the edges. Happiness is subjective, right? I'm happy with Iwa-chan, as we are, right now. But you could be more happy if you just confessed. KyoHaba can't help but add. Or, Oikawa counters, I could lose it all. But you won't, KyoHaba insists. But you don't know that. But it's obvious. The day he says it to my face, I'll believe it. But. No buts, Haba-chan. Oikawa sighs, and KyoHaba notices that his face suddenly looks terribly tired. You win. I'll leave you alone. KyoHaba blinks as Oikawa draws himself up from his chair slowly. He readjusts the strap of his bag on his shoulder and gazes at KyoHaba sadly, still smiling. I came here to say one thing, really. Don't be like me, Haba-chan. With that, he's gone, and KyoHaba relaxes into his seat, feeling completely drained. A morose feeling has settled itself over his chest, and KyoHaba feels like Oikawa's words have somehow set off some sort of cosmic timer. The pressure's on, sort of. Friendship in regards to romance was sort of like a parabola, KyoHaba thinks. As one becomes better friends with someone, they have a higher and higher chance of being with that person romantically. But at some point, the graph turns around. As the friendship deepens and solidifies, it gets harder and harder to turn that relationship into something more. There was a term for it, that level of friendship. Oh, right. Friend-zoned, in the deepest sense of the word. KyoHaba looks out the window, where Oikawa is exiting the library. He walks up to a haggard-looking Iwaizumi, sitting on the bench outside, and drapes himself over his shoulders like an overgrown scarf. Or, maybe our chances to continue to get higher, but we just get more scared? Oikawa's head is buried into some part of Iwaizumi's shoulder, but KyoHaba can clearly see the sickeningly fond look in the ace's eyes, even from 100 feet away. Am I really like that? Are we like that? They'd never be so blind, right? KyoHaba doesn't really know when he started getting used to going on weekly visits to the animal shelter with Kyoutani, but apparently it's so ingrained into his schedule now that the one day Kyoutani happens to not be available. He finds himself waiting at their shady rendezvous point behind the school anyways. Takashi had stopped approaching him in class, thankfully probably publicly humiliated from that first encounter, but he had yet to stop bothering KyoHaba whenever he bumped into him alone. KyoHaba didn't tell Kyoutani about the encounters, though, and Kyoutani never brought up the subject of Takashi when they were together. KyoHaba wonders why not. Without Takashi, there's technically no reason for Kyoutani to continue to play this game of charades with him, so shouldn't he be curious about how well it was working? That said, Kyoutani doesn't strike KyoHaba as the type to agonize over this type of thing anyways. KyoHaba slaps his own forehead and tries to clear his thoughts, getting ready to start walking towards the street and make his way home. That is, until he hears a quiet voice behind him that causes shivers to run up his spine. Shigeru. KyoHaba squeezes his eyes shut as his heart involuntarily fills with dread. Damn it, why him? Why now? Don't call me that. He turns around and faces Takashi, who's leaning against the wall, in the same pose and same spot that KyoHaba usually waits for KyoHaba in. It does strange things to KyoHaba's brain, to see his least favorite person posing parallel to who was quickly becoming one of his most favorite people. Takashi smiles innocently, but it comes across as something slimy. Ah, did you get stood up? Stood up? Is he talking about my meetups with KyoHaba? How does he know? The realization hits KyoHaba like a punch in the gut. Holy shit, are you stalking me? KyoHaba glares at him, seeing the other boy in an entirely new light. That's a new level of creepy, even for you, Takashi. Takashi chuckles and kicks himself off the wall, creeping closer to KyoHaba, who takes a step back. The dark corner KyoHaba usually found comforting was starting to feel like a trap. Stalking you? Don't flatter yourself, KyoHaba. KyoHaba clenches his fists. Just walk away. Walk away, Shigeru. Now. His legs don't move, though, and Takashi closes the space between them, leaning in close to his ear. You. By the way, Shigeru, I know. He knows about what? The fake. Dating. KyoHaba's eyes widen against his own will. Takashi notices, and smirks. No, that's impossible. Nobody except for Oikawa and Watari knows that it's fake, and none of them would have said anything. You don't know shit, KyoHaba manages to spit shakily. Takashi's grin slips away and his mouth twists with displeasure. Yeah, take that, asshole. Still trying to hide it, huh? Hide what? KyoHaba's beginning to lose his patience. He just wants to get out of here. I know you're only dating that guy to get me to leave you alone. KyoHaba's jaw drops and everything goes still for a second. Shit, he really does know? Does that mean everything he did was for nothing? All his efforts? Takashi sneers at him. You know, I didn't think you'd stoop to that level. You're probably breaking your boyfriend's heart. For once, Takashi's inability to shut up helps KyoHaba, because KyoHaba almost sighs in relief. So, Takashi thinks he's stringing KyoHaba along. Wait, that's somehow worse. But KyoHaba can't really object and tell Takashi the truth, can he? Seeing KyoHaba at a loss for words must empower the other boy in some way, because Takashi bulldozes on, gloating gleefully. Guess you're not so high and mighty as I thought, huh? KyoHaba cringes away as Takashi leans into his personal space once again, whispering low in his ear. Just punch him. Just leave. Why won't my arm move? But, playing dirty just for me. That's pretty hot. Oh god, KyoHaba's going to vomit. His stomach lurches and he finally regains control of his body as survival instinct kicks in. He shoves Takashi away from him with all his might. You're disgusting, he snarls, before turning on his heel, heart pounding, focused on getting as far as possible from the freak. He's not proud of running away, but we're perfect for each other. Takashi cackles from behind him, and KyoHaba resists the urge to throw a rock at his face. Doesn't he know when to give up? What's wrong with him? What did I ever do to deserve this? KyoHaba bites his lip to keep from blurting out that KyoHaba is nothing like him. Just leave. You can deal with this later. KyoHaba's trusty feet propel him away from the alleyway and out the gates of Aobajasai. He's clenching his jaw, the familiar prickle of frustrated tears pulsing behind his eyes, but he won't let them fall, because he's not going to cry because of Takashi. Why did this have to happen to me? Why couldn't Takashi just pick on someone? KyoHaba stops himself right there. He wouldn't wish Takashi on anyone else. Better it's me, he thinks bitterly. The tension doesn't leave his shoulders until he's in the safety of his own home, and KyoHaba almost stumbles in his haste to retreat inside, shuts the door behind him, turns, and slumps against the wall, sighing. Subconsciously, his fingers reach into his pocket and pull out his phone, swiping to KyoHaba's contact. Before he has time to question his actions, his fingers are flying over the keypad and the letters appear, as fast and as uncontrollable as droplets of rain, on the screen. Greater than you busy? I kind of need to talk. Immediately after he presses send, he regrets it all. Of course, KyoHaba is busy, or else he would be here, with KyoHaba, and Takashi would have never dared to approach them. Of course, KyoHaba is busy, and of course, KyoHaba is an idiot. He glances down at the blue bubble, cursing the fact that there is no unsend function on any message. Shit. KyoHaba wants to smack himself, too, for being so dependent. What, all Takashi did was talk to him, and now KyoHaba needs KyoHaba to comfort him? When did he get so weak? YoHaba's heart shrivels a little inside and he grimaces at himself. You're stronger than this, he mutters under his breath, ignoring the part of him that falls numb at the statement. He brushes a curtain of pride in front of his heart and heads to his room, ready to drown in the familiar burden of homework. Later on that night, after YoHaba has filled his stomach with food and his homework sits, completed, on his desk, his phone buzzes. Thinking it's Matari asking him yet again about a calculus problem, YoHaba reaches over from where he's lounged on his mattress and switches the device on. The screen brightens to a cheerily bold name of Kentaro flashing before YoHaba's eyes. Greater than Kentaro was helping my sister. What? YoHaba musters the energy to smile wanly. He sounds so classic Kyoutani. Usually, YoHaba has the energy to tell himself not to take the curt nature of Kyoutani's messages to heart, to set his infuriating insecurities aside and use logic to deduce that Kyoutani does like being around him. Or else he would have ditched YoHaba by now, but today, YoHaba is just not up for it. Greater than you, it's fine. As much as he wants to admit that it doesn't, YoHaba's heart sinks underwater when Kyoutani's gray bubble doesn't so much as register as typing after that. His phone remains silent through the night. For the first time, YoHaba falls a little out of love-like. It doesn't last very long. The next morning, YoHaba wakes up to an angry honking outside his window. At first, he thinks that it's his neighbors, a loud family whose arguments can sometimes be heard even from one house over. So he buries his head deeper into his pillow and attempts to ignore the sound. It's less ignorable when his phone starts ringing like mad. This time, YoHaba's eyes fly wide open, because that's the ringtone that Hanamaki set for Kyoutani when he and Matson thought it'd be funny to hack into YoHaba's phone that one day after practice. And why is Kyoutani calling him oh god? Since it's morning and YoHaba doesn't turn into a functional human being until 11 a.m. at least, YoHaba doesn't remember last night's events until he's already picked up. Hello? YoHaba, hurry the fuck up. Your neighbors look 1 second away from keying my damn car while I'm sitting in it. WH what? An angry growl. I'm outside, and move your skinny ass. YoHaba splutters. I'm not skinned. With a click, Kyoutani hangs up. Says you. He grumbles pettily. Kyoutani is all skin and bones, so really, who is he to judge? At least YoHaba's taller. Small victories. But hold on. What the fuck? This is not a normal occurrence. Kyoutani never shows up at his house at the unreasonable hour. Holy fuck, it's already 7:49? YoHaba leaps out of bed, panic pushing all his other thoughts away and jolting him wide awake. He brushes his teeth hastily, throws his clothes on, grabs his hair product because he doesn't have time to pick at himself in front of a mirror today, and sweeps his various notebooks into his backpack. Flying downstairs and snatching a banana, YoHaba runs outside. Kyoutani's truck, B, is rumbling impatiently in his driveway, the driver looking down at him with all the grace and goodliness of a rock. YoHaba scowls at him, barely resisting the urge to blow a childish raspberry, before jogging over and scrambling into the passenger seat. He's hardly closed the door before Kyoutani's backing out like he's in some sort of racing game. Okay, chill, I don't want to die. YoHaba manages to snap as he narrowly saves his banana from tumbling to the ground. Kyoutani snorts. He pulls out onto the road, and once YoHaba has righted himself, YoHaba turns to look at him curiously. So what gives? Instead of a non-committal reply like YoHaba is expecting, Kyoutani returns his gaze with a serious stare. YoHaba almost gulps, feeling like a kid caught stealing cookies. He's suddenly self-conscious of his unfixed hair, which must look like a rat's nest. He brings a hand up hesitantly, trying to brush the bent locks into their usual side-swept state while being as casual as possible. Yesterday, right. YoHaba barely manages to keep himself from flinching as memories of Takashi and cold text messages come rushing back. What about it? It's a miracle his voice comes out as lightly as it does. Kyoutani huffs. What did you need to talk about? This catches YoHaba off guard. Huh? Is YoHaba's eloquent reply. He blinks. I said it was fine. Kyoutani taps his index finger incessantly on the steering wheel. If he wasn't using his legs to press the gas pedal, his knee would probably be bouncing like mad. Why do I even know that? I ain't the most social guy, but even I know that it's fine means the opposite of what it's supposed to. Even as KyoHaba frowns, his heart warms. So KyoTani does care. Of course he does, he's your friend. KyoHaba kind of wants to smack himself for being so insecure and butthurt about a simple text message. This is why everyone calls you a drama queen. Another wave of self-deprecation washes over him, prickling at his skin. His nerves still feel fried, and the abruptness of this morning and the freshness of everything that happened yesterday weighs heavy on KyoHaba's shoulders. KyoTani huffs. Boy, you gonna answer my question or not? The dam cracks. KyoHaba grasps at words, any words, to fill the gap. Maybe I would if you weren't such a jerk all the time. His mouth supplies, completely unhelpfully, carrying much too much honesty for KyoHaba's liking. Wait, I didn't mean. He rushes to fill, eyes widening as he turns his head to avoid seeing KyoTani's reaction. There isn't much of one anyways. In fact, there's nothing but silence after that, but it seems electrically charged, and the awkwardness threatens to suffocate KyoHaba. He doesn't dare to turn his head back forwards, a mixture of embarrassment and fear having paralyzed the muscles in his neck, but his curiosity burns. Is he mad? Is he confused? Does he hate me now? God, why did I even say that? Did I? KyoTani starts, voice so low that KyoHaba barely picks up on it. He doesn't sound like he's about to punch KyoHaba, so KyoHaba cautiously swivels his head over to look at him. Huh? Did I? Fuck up? KyoTani repeats, staring resolutely ahead at the road. The morning sun cuts across his nose, just barely lighting up the tips of his ears, which KyoHaba notes are turning a cute pink. KyoHaba swallows, heart melting again. No, not really. I'm sorry. I'm just... Yesterday took a toll on me. KyoTani glances at him, at this. Explain? KyoHaba smiles weakly. Maybe later. But we're almost at school. Maybe if he stalls, he can get himself together, enough so that he doesn't feel like bursting into tears when he thinks about Takashi and KyoTani. KyoTani hums lowly, casts him another glance, before looking back to the road. He turns into the IwaOi student parking lot. K. As soon as they park, KyoHaba's unclipping his seatbelt and hopping out of the truck. He doesn't even turn to catch KyoTani's confused look before waving haphazardly over his shoulder. Thanks for the ride. With that, he rushes off to his first class. Or at least, tries to, before realizing, oh, wait, I sit next to him. Fuck. KyoTani catches up with him in no time. You're being weird, he says, after a pause. KyoHaba smiles weakly. I know. His words hang heavy, suspended in the air between them. They walk together in silence to their first period.